Placement Cell of Shivaji College. After yesterday's session on resume building, today we move on to the next important phase of the placement process through a session on excelling the round table. Whether it is campus recruitments or other recruitment drives, the very first level of elimination is the group discussion. A GD is a popular method used by many organizations to gauge whether the candidate has certain personality traits such as interpersonal communication skills, confidence in public speaking, team spirit, leadership abilities, social behavior, and problem solving skills. GDs form an important part of shortlisting process for recruitment or admission in the company or institution. While for some students it is an opportunity to showcase their communication skills with great fluency and expressions, for some others it is a fearsome hurdle between them and their dream job. To enable our students to put their best foot forward during group discussions, we bring to you a session on Excel at the round table. Through it, the students will not only understand key points through which they can excel in the group discussion round, but also get their doubts clarified through a mock GD and a question and answer round at the end. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce you to the speaker of the day, Mr. Saumar Choudhury. Mr. Saumar Choudhury is a human resource professional with many years of experience and the objective to motivate talent. He is currently responsible for the people gamut globally for the entire technology function and multiple e-commerce business lines across South Asia of AirAsia Super App. He has 10 years of wide range experience and expertise in building and setting up startups to expand business setup of multinational corporations globally. He also played multiple roles in the HR and business space. He led and built in a multicultural environment. He gave a relentless contribution in top-edge startups like Flipkart, Honeywell, and Infosys. He has a certification of completion in change management, certification in performance measurement, and he is also a certified psychometric test professional. We welcome you, sir. Without much ado, I request you, sir, to kindly start with the session.
Okay, all right. So thank you, Anshika, for that warm welcome, and thanks, Dharia, for inviting me to this session. I know we have been speaking for quite some time now, and we were able to connect. So I'm quite excited, quite glad to have this session. And so of this onset, I know it's almost the January month is going to be over, but I do not want to miss the opportunity to wish you all a very happy 2022. And I think it's a fabulous initiative done by the institute, and very few colleges and very few institutes or organizations typically spending some time to build in talent of this sort. So it's really great to see this initiative being taken. And I was in fact going through the topics as well. So the topics that are probably put up in the skill developmental series, it's pretty important, and it's not only from an educational institution standpoint, but you will realize over the period of time that all these piece or all these topics, right, are lifelong topics. I mean, the topic like group discussion, it's not only for getting a placement, or it's not only for getting a job, or it's not only for getting into an MBA institute, right? Or it's not only a topic or not only a focus area to get into a tier college, but it is important. And group discussion is the way that it looks like to have you starting from your getting an opportunity to be a part of the MBA institutes, or be in your promotions, be in your job, be in your selection in further rounds, and so on and so forth. So this is something, the moment you are getting into it, it is a lifelong event. You need to be part of the round table. So round table is a part and parcel of every corporate or every professional individual who wants to be part of it. We'll speak about it, how does it go and how it is, right? And let me share my screen. Let me know once it is visible. My screen is visible, right?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, great, great. So the topic that I was kind of asked to is one of my favorite topic as well on the roundtable sequence. I mean, the way that today what we are going to do in the next 45 minutes to 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes, we'll see how it goes, right? So I would try to wrap this up by next 1 hour because I'm starting at 4:10. I'll try to wrap this out by 5:10, of course, to free up your time. I'm sure it might be a busy day for all of you. But having said that, in this 1 hour, what we'll try to achieve is something unconventional, right? So the whole area of this entire piece, or the whole area of this group discussions, which are so-called the roundtable conversation, right, has some different essence of it. There are things, a lot of readable material in the Google. There are a lot of YouTube videos. There are a lot of stuff into it, right? I'm sure you guys will be taking it up all over it again and again. Hence, I do not want to repeat any of those stuffs, right? So that's part of it. I mean, the easiest way is to kind of bring it up across, say the same things, and which or probably you will again read it in very, very handy. So I'll share couple of the secrets. It's called the roundtable secrets. Okay, and not like too many of them. It's exactly two. Secret number one and secret number two. We'll talk about it, what's in there and how it is, right? And then if you really, really believe in these two secrets, if you really can nail it down and take it out to your heart, trust me, any group discussion or any of your roundtable conference, I mean, starting from now from your placement perspective to your overall line game, I mean, you'll remember this session for a life. Okay, so this piece, what I'm trying to do is not only from cracking an interview, but really bringing that conversation out from the roundtable or the conference room, right? Or a conference where the board of directors probably meeting, right? What do they do, right? And how do they make their mark, or how do they make their presence, right? And how do, for example, a marketing professional or a CEO or a CMO, when they sit onto the table, or a leader, when they sit onto the table, what exactly the principle they apply for. So these principles, when you apply in your role, or when you will go ahead and apply in your placement stuff, right, or when you apply for a job, you can expect magnifying results out of it, right? So are you guys excited? You can just, I know I can't see any of your voices. I wish I could have kind of come in person and have a discussion in a closed room, have a lot of, because I love doing that a lot of times. And in fact, many of the sessions that I'm trying to do is, going forward, meeting in people, bringing all of them in the close, but I cannot see any one of you. I can't hear any one of you. So I think the one way that you can help in is just raise your hand so that I know you are all with me. Okay, all right. I saw seven raise your hands. Of course. Thank you so much. Thanks. So I know, okay, we are all in this entire game. Great. So let's go with this, right? Uh, okay, now this is a very, very old picture. Okay, can anyone of you can tell this picture is from where and what was it? Just a header, just a header. Yep, anyone of you. Now, yeah, I think anyone can write or something like that. Can I read? So how do I kind of interact? Is there a possibility that I can listen also? If someone wants to say something?
Okay, guys. So if someone wants to speak something, they could raise their hands. We'll unmute them.
Yeah, just one of you is completely fine. You just can tell what is the header of it. I saw Jaita. Okay, Jaita.
Oh, no, that
Okay,
was
just
my
one.
mistake. Sorry, that was from the previous rounds.
Okay,
I-
okay,
yeah.
okay. No problem. No problem.
We'll wait for the students. I'll not intervene.
Sure, sure, sure.
The mic has been allowed for the students, those who have raised their hands. You could unmute yourself.
Quick
Hello,
one.
sir. I'm
Second
Nishant.
roundtable call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is from the roundtable conference that happened in England.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. So I think you can just thank you so much. Right. So if you see, this is not something new that we are talking about, right? It ranges in from years. It this, you can see the folks who are sitting in this room, right? So there's a huge room. There's a huge room, and you can see if you want to really make an impact out of this room. I mean, today we are talking about GD of 10 people in a room. Just imagine you are one of them sitting in the conference, and you really have to make a point, out in this room, right? You really need to have a lot of stuff, a lot of areas. I think this is a perfect example for any group discussion, for that matter, right? That, hey, if I am in that group, how could I really make that happen? Okay, so this is something that I want you to remind, that the whole group conference, or the whole group discussion, or the round table, I think has changed worlds, has changed countries landscape, and of course it has a lot of weightage to our entire life, right? So this is of course one of the very interesting topic, but at the same time is very serious. Now let's go on with this. All right, so let me know. So there is a bus which is out there in the screen. Okay, now you have your own college buses, right? You have your own colleges buses. You have own college institutes buses, which comes from different places to different to your campus. So I want really to put up your thinking hat, right? So I really want to put up all of your thinking hat, because there'll be one question that I'm going to ask. So this is something very mathematical. Okay, now you might be wondering, how come mathematics? How is mathematics coming into the picture of group discussion, right? So that is the first twist. So please focus on the entire problem statement, right? So I will be putting up a series of stuffs. So this is one question that I'm going to ask you at the point of time. Okay, all set? All thumbs up? Can I get a thumbs up? All right, perfect. Okay, now this is a bus which is, for example, right, coming from Chandni Chowk to the Shivaji College campus. Now this is a bus, it starts out from there. Now please concentrate on the problem statement. All right, the concentration on the problem statement is, the bus is only with the driver. There is no people into it. There's not a single student who has boarded the bus, right? It starts from Chandni Chowk, and you have only the driver. Okay, now please concentrate. 5 students on board. All right, in the first stoppage, 5 students get onto the bus. Okay, next, 3 students on board. On board means 3 more students have got up into the bus. All right, next, 2 students off board. Off board means 2 students have got down. Great, you are with me? Someone can raise a hand. Okay, great. Now please start concentrating. 5 students on board. Next, 10 students on board. Next, 4 students off board. Next, 7 students on board. Next, 2 students on board. Next, 2 students off board more. Next, 5 students on board more. All right, 1 student on board. Hope all of you guys are with me. Next, 1 student on board. All right, you reach to Shivaji College campus. All students on board. Okay, of course, the bus has reached to the campus. All students on board, right? You have to get down. Now, my question to all of you is, how many times the bus stopped? Any answers to it? Quick one. Did you find it interesting? Did you find this
Yes, sir.
interesting?
10.
Did you anticipate this problem? Did you
13.
anticipate this problem? Okay, 10, 13. All right. But to the majority of the people,
10.
or the majority of the audience, did you anticipate this question?
No.
That you
No,
should
sir.
on, right? Many of us, I'm sure there would be people who would also spot that question, right? How many times the bus stopped? But most of us in this room would not have anticipated at all that this is the question that will come, right? Now there's a big learning onto it. The learning exactly gets applied into a GD room. And I'll tell you how. Okay, there's a certain lag because I put on the PPT, but it comes a bit late into the, but it's okay. So the first hack of a GD, and please remember this, or take a screenshot or anything. Everyone will spot the obvious. The GD. In any group discussion, everyone will spot the obvious. If you want to stand out in the room, you cannot miss what is below the carpet. Okay, now I could not demonstrate that, hence I have put out this problem to you, a mathematical problem, which is as easy as add and subtract. So it's about adding, it's about subtraction, but the whole idea is everyone is spot the obvious. So whenever you get into a GD room, if there's a topic called economy of India, right? So anything out there on economy, people will speak about it. But point is, how do you stand out in the room? And what exactly is something that you can differentiate yourself in the room? Now, if there are 10 people, there will be 10 viewpoints. 9 viewpoints will talk about economy. But can you bring politics into economy? Can you bring sports into economy? Can you bring health into economy? So the first hack is everyone will spot the obvious. If you want to stand out in the room, you cannot miss what is below the carpet. All right. So this is the first hack. I'm going to spare only 2 hacks, and then we will go into the JD as we move forward, and then we'll learn from it. All right. All with me. You did your first hack. Okay. This is the learning, right? So when we do the mock, you have to apply that in that mock JD. So one is your learning part, and one is the application part. All right. All with me. Okay, great. Now, can you recognize what is this?
Titanic.
Okay, great.
Titanic.
All right. Now, let me tell you a quick story of what is this all about, right? And why this picture is right now in the screen. Now, what happened is, when I passed out from like when I passed out from my MBA grad, right? I went for the first time in the management, in the management area, and then taken up my first job. And there were 30 corporate folks who were hired in the whole year, right? And we are from different institutes. I mean, I came from a different institute. There are people from different institutes. Now, what exactly happened in this happened, right? So I got placed in Delhi, and when I was there in the guest house, so this company was called the Avanta Group, which is at Crompton Bridge, and the office is in Gurgaon. So I was put up in the guest house in Gurgaon, and I did complete my post graduation and started my out there. Now, what exactly happened is uh, during the first day of my first job, right? So my first job I started on 11th of March 2011. Now 10th of March is where I reached the campus, reach the guest house. And yes, of course, there are so many people, right? There are 30 who travel out from all different parts of India. We were put in the same guest house. So there's something called the team leader. There's something called the team leader, right? Most of you would also experience this when you together. So out of your management training batch or things like that, right? So there will be something like the corporate leader or the corporate leader identified out of that, and so for to be a part of this group, right? There is a group discussion that the team typically happens in. So there is a group discussion that will happen, and out of this group discussion is where there's a selection that is made to who will be the team leader. Now this is an exciting part of it, right? The whole evening we were preparing for stuff, we were preparing for things, we were preparing for the for the next day. Tomorrow, people were really looking up for things. People were really looking up for newspapers. People were reading in content. People were reading in stuff and so on and so forth. I'm saying that's very very important, but people are really doing their all markup and information and so on and so forth, right? To speak about it, to be confident about it, because if you do not have content, right, you will not be able to speak in a group discussion. Now the whole part of this is in the next day when we were so there are two groups like a group A and group B, and we are put into the same group discussion. In the group A discussion, the topic that was put up is something called theory that you never knew. Theory that you never knew. So that was the topic that was thrown. So this is called the abstract topic of GD. I'm sure many of you know about it. So there's something called abstract topics, something called the hill topic, somewhat it's called the current topic, it's called an economic topic. So there are a lot of topics in GD. So this is an abstract topic that came in for us. So people were actually putting up a lot of theories, right? The theories that you never knew, right? So theories in the sense that, hey, you know what? I really came to know about the Bermuda Triangle. Or someone said, hey, you know what? I uh, really know about the first law of motion that actually travelability was not right, and the second part of it, and so on and so forth. So the whole thing was actually happened, and this is where it was. In fact, I was also one of it, and when I participated, also I put up a topic where I put up a point saying that we never knew that earlier $1 was equal to 1 rupee at our time, and so on and so forth. Now there was this one guy, right? He was silent. So this GD was done for around 15 to 20. It was planned for 25 minutes. This guy did not speak in for the first 15 minutes. All right. Now, at the 16th minute, right, he observes what everyone is saying. What everyone is saying, right? So it has been told over and over and over and over and over again. And the moment the turn came in for him, right, he started up with a very, very, very different line. He said, I'm not sure how many of you know, he said, the Titanic never sank. Did you guys know about it? Do you know what is this all about? Or is it something which also has shaken you up? So he started off a sentence called, the Titanic never sank. Okay, it is one of the biggest conspiracy theory in the world. And what he said that this is the theory. It's not about it's not that I knew or I don't know. It's all that you also do not know about it. And he made that statement, right? And everyone was silent because no one knew how to take it up from there. Because exactly people did not know what to say. And I'm sure many people in this room, as now I'm saying about it, right? The Titanic ship is right there. We all know about what's happened, what has happened, right? About the Titanic. But the moment I say the Titanic has never sank, it is like, what happened? What's there? Right? So the point is, there are information, there is a topic, there is an unknown information everywhere, in every topic. And I'm sure today most of you will be googling down, right? Did the Titanic sink or not sink? Please go ahead and read. Please go ahead and do your studies. You do about, do in YouTube. Very interesting studies are there. right? So this is called a conspiracy theory, where the theories came and say the Titanic never sank. It is in fact the world's largest, biggest insurance scam. So that's where the whole theory comes in picture. So the topic was the theory that you did not know, right? So he made a mark, and this guy, trust me, out of this 30, was one of the top five folks. So in his CGPA, I mean, later we came to know he was not that great in his, I mean, he just squeezed into the placement, right? And it's not the highest of the grade that this guy have, nor the highest of the IQ, unlike this 30, unlike this, the 30 of this batch. But what he knows is absolutely amazing. Some of the stuff that he knows and he kind of gets it up right is really, really amazing. Now, the point here is, I'm not saying that you really have to find a lot of things or not of unknown things out of every topic. But the point is, how do know or make up your information in a group discussion in such a manner that you can really stun people. Now, with that, the second hack that says that amplify what you know. You really do not have to know everything on earth in GD. So this is one of the biggest mistake that people do. Hey, I really have to read a lot of stuff to crack a GD. Absolutely no. Is preparation is 200% knowledge really important? Absolutely no. If you talk about, do I really need to have mug up a lot of things? Absolutely no. But should you prepare for it? Absolutely yes. You should definitely prepare for it. Preparation is one part of it, but you really have to amplify what you know. Now, amplification is something which really works in a JD, right? So in many of the GD tutorials that you'll receive or things like that, you'll say, hey, you have to speak on first, you have to speak in the middle, you have to speak on the last, you have to speak after 5 minutes, you have to speak after 10 minutes, you have to speak after 17 minutes. So there are different kind of annotations that will be happening. But please remember, every group discussion that you enter has a different ecosystem. Why? Because the moment 10 folks get into that room, no one knows what is the topic. No one knows how the things will flow. No one knows how much knowledge each guy have, because it will depend on the topic, and you'll get like around 2-3 minutes to prepare your thoughts. So in that whole game, you really have to do you have to really consider these two things, and please make up this in mind. The moment you enter a topic, if you do not understand anything about it, if, for example, it is possible, nothing is going through your mind, right? The topic is thrown to you, you said, oh shit, I do not know what is there about. Calm down, don't worry. Everyone is writing points, you don't have any single point to write. It's okay, you don't have to do anything, because it's a game of 20 minutes. The point is, when you enter in these 20 minutes, are you making a mark or not is the question. So that's where the second point.
Am I audible? Are you all with me? Raising
Yes,
hands. Okay, perfect. So two things. One is your amplification and one is timing, right? So I'm repeating this one once more for you. Amplification in the sense that what you know, can you amplify that and make it as a story in your JD, right? You do not have to speak for more, but the lines that you speak should be so clear that it should really rattle people out there, right? That's one. Second is timing. So timing is, if you're really confident about the topic and you know that you can really make a mark, and you see that, okay, you are very confident about it, go for it. Just hit number one, right? Try to make the dominant out there in the group, build onto your skill, build onto your show your leadership skill, and so on and so forth. Do not start off the JD, for example, when you know your content is not that strong, right? Wait for it, how people are actually reacting to the JD, so that you can make your time, and you can actually, probably if two folks speak, you might get some time to prepare in your mind. Okay, this is what this guy is talking about. So So that's where it will give you some time. Sometimes it happens that are you the perfect summing up? So the whole discussion has happened. Do you have the ability to round the entire conversation and then give your opinion to stamp the final hack of the JD, right? Or the final conclusion of the JD. So your timing is important. Please remember, when you speak, just if you are not getting the chance to speak for the first time, second time, do not get nervous, do not get demotivated. I mean, that's not the point at all. The only thing is, when you are speaking, you should ensure that you are rattling the group, right? So people typically wait for their turn. uh, uh, Let me speak, can I make a point? These are some of the things that are there. It's okay, observe what people are saying. The moment you get into the game, just look like it. All right. So these two are the hacks that I wanted all of you to get into it. I am not going into any of the theoretical part of it. I'm sure, guys, you know it enough, and I'm assuming this is one of the most mature batches. But I really wanted to make a point where, the first hack where we spoke about that, if it is economy, think about economy, think about alternate parts, how can you link things to economy. If, for example, it's sports, do not think about speaking about sports, can you bring health into sports, right? For example, if someone is talking about 2022, right? So do not think about talking about 2022, right? How do you link different years into it? If someone is speaking about topping like how do you see India in 2025, right? So do not think only about 2025. Can you backtrack 2050 to 2025 and make it 1980 to 2025? How can you build all the stories together? So the whole idea is, can you make an alternate approach to the discussion, and people should be able to listen to you. All right. So with that, uh, let's probably then move to the GG time, keeping these principles in mind. Maria, can we go ahead with this? I mean, how do you want to run this? I'll be more than happy. I mean, we can
Interest.
have 10 people, 10, 15 people. I mean, how many of you want to volunteer for it? So 10 to 15 people, I think you can volunteer yourself into the discussion. So a topic will be spread up, and we will just do a quick 7 minutes of a discussion, right? We'll observe how the room goes about it, and then probably we'll speak or diagnosis of how the GD has gone by, right? Remember these three principles, right? Only these three principles on how do you want to put, and then let's target on this GD and see how powerful or how impactful you can make your presence feel in this GD. All right. We are not talking about, okay, let me be very clear. I mean, this is the ground rules, right? One is, many people think in GD that you have to be really good in English in doing stuff. Absolutely no. As long as you are understandable, as long as you are making sense, as long as you are grammatically correct, do not worry about anything, right? It's absolutely okay to go ahead into the discussion. Number one. Number two, power vocabs. Do you really need to use vocabs and vocabs? No, nothing like it. Your the whole idea. I mean, as you move up into the ladder, right? As you move out into the game, as simple as, okay, I like water, is, I mean, the moment you can put up sentences like that, it will help your communication to be much more better. So keep it very, very simple. Do not use too stretch of a stuffs to where people cannot understand or cannot make point out of it. Okay. So I think, without wasting much time, any volunteers for the GD? I think I'm quite excited. Let's see how this entire thing goes, and then we can take it up from there.
Interested students, kindly raise your hands.
Okay, I can't see actually who has raised their hands and all. So I think I am assuming sorry, I think you can just coordinate this part. Is that okay? I see Supreme, I see Rohit. who has raised their hands?
For some strange reason, in the online mode, students are not as forthcoming as they are in the offline mode. So yeah, just a few minutes.
Oh, no problem, no problem. It's fine. I mean, 5 is also okay. Okay, guys, so do not worry about it. Okay, so first is be comfortable. I think this is one of the major breaker, right? This is the time because the moment you are there into the actual world or into the actual space, right? Then there is no coming back. Do not worry about anything. I think this is a fantastic opportunity where you have an audience to look at your group discussion way, and I believe this is this cannot be better than this when you have your entire team out there and who can actually talk about it and look at your viewpoint and so on and so forth. So I mean, I know, I mean, it can be a bit more like should I go, should I not go, should I do it, what people will think of me. Okay, I'm a bit more fear, can I speak, can I not speak, will people make fun of me? Don't worry about anything. This is the time, this is the right time. You can go ahead and experience and explore this part, right? So it's okay, we are not, no one is judging anyone here. It's all about understanding how can we do the whole thing better. All right, I see so many people. I think it should be okay, should be okay. The I mean, as the group, right? I think okay. I think I see so many of you. Shion is there. Then. Okay, I think Suklin is there. Anyone else? I think I. Okay, I'm somehow not able to see who has raised it actually. But no problem. I think did we get six to seven people out there? 7 people I see have raised their hands. Okay. Okay, I see Sukheen, Rohit, Saurabh, Bhavesh, Gaurav, Shahid, and Satish. All right, I think this should be good to go. We have 7 people. I think if we can get uh, two more, three more is okay. If no, it's still okay. Okay, all right. No problem, guys. I think first of all, a huge applause for all of you who have actually raised your hand to be a part of this. I think it's brilliant. It's brilliant. I mean, this is the first step. This is the first step, right? How do you? I remember when the introduction was being said. I mean, the first thing was how do you put up your fear, right? So that's very important. One thing, how do you amplify? How do you make your timing? How do you make up your presence? It's all starts with your fear first. How do you get out of your fear? So I think thank you so much for putting up your hand. So if you are all set, right? So the rules of the JD is very simple. We'll keep it very simple, right? We are not going to complicate stuff. The whole idea is a topic will be kind of shared. You take 2 minutes to prepare for it, and then we will run the group discussion for 7 to 10 minutes. Okay, so that's where we'll run, and then you start off with the JD, how it is, how do you want to present, how do you want to get into it, how do you want to make your presence felt, right? Have the discussions on, and then we take it up from there. All right, make sense? Everyone with me? So guys, I think if you are on the other side, if you are looking this group speaking, right, seeing Sukhleen speak or Rohit speak or Saurabh, Bhavesh, Gaurav, Pratyush, please cheer them up. I think it's a very interesting one. Please understand how it goes and think about it also. If you are a part of it, what would you have done better? Okay, so that's something which we'll put up as a learning environment. I'll need some more participation as well as we end up this discussion, because there will be some interesting questions that will be asked, right? And there'll be interesting reflections that we'll do out of this discussion. Okay. All right. So without wasting much time, I will flash up the topic in the screen. Okay, the topic for discussion is 2022 and beyond. Okay, so this is the topic. Very easy topic, I believe. The fresh new year, right? It's a year that is there, and how do I mean? It's an open conversation out there. So I will leave the group to to make their points for 2 minutes, and then we can start off the video. Okay, guys, one more minute, and then we can start off the discussion. I hope that is sufficient. I mean, to organize your thoughts. And by the way, 2 minutes is something that you'll anyways get in your real life GD participation or your group discussion uh, when you appear for your placements and things like that. All right, 20 more seconds. All right, five, four, three, two, one. Okay, the floor is open. So over to you all. Over to the group. Guys, you can start off.
Hello everyone.
Yep, please. Yeah.
Firstly, I want to
Hello.
express
Yeah.
my thoughts behalf on the two most popular billionaire persons. One is the Jack Ma and another one is Elon Musk. If we see their point of view, then Jack Ma says that we have to conserve the Earth's nature. We what do we have? We have to use that uh, with our sense. And if we see the Elon Musk point of view, then he says that we have to find the future on the Mars. We are no longer on the Earth, but while Jack Ma says that we can be longer on the Earth if we take decisions and if we prevent the global warming, such like that things. So that's a big question for our future.
So clean. Go ahead.
Good evening,
Yep.
sir.
Please go ahead.
Sir, in this
Yep.
era
Yep.
of
Please go ahead.
global pandemic, sir, in this era of global pandemic times, most of the country has faced lots of economic crisis, and there has been many violence and things have taken us like health, education, and these all things. So from 2022, and if I anticipate in future, so every country has learned that they all need a strong international cooperation. So, sir, we can expect that a good cooperation of countries will be there. A good networking with international organization will be promoted in the future time. And secondly, we have in the present time also we are seeing that most of the youth is attracted towards financial sectors and business sector, which is very essential for our country, which is like economically driven because it has faced great decline in economy by privatization and these globalization and the suppression by MNCs. So, sir, likewise in the present day youths getting towards business will empower the economy, and most of the youth is also traveling towards they have an access to international organization by digital media that the government has promoted. And by the way of digitalization also, most of the students are getting in connect with most of the great teachers, professors and organizations, and great team internships. So these all things will like combinedly, these all things will develop the artificial intelligence technology, and these all things will be like a great boon for our country with respect to security, with request to the saving of time by technology and reaching far areas without any like physical need. And also, sir, if we see in the social change, when we look upon the social change. So women empowerment, which has been a greatest concern for our country, and now we can see in the present time also we are seeing that the participation of women in every sector and becoming the heads. So and these different laws and these all things will also make a country more strengthened in terms of manpower, because men and women will combinedly work for a country and that will develop the nation. So, sir, in future, I believe that these all socially, economically, and culturally our country will be rich, but there has been an issue of environment. So there have been many meetings which are going on, so and there many countries have planned for the environment meetings like Kyoto Protocol and G20 summit, wherein they discuss about sustainable developments. So environmental concerns will also be taken into account with respect to carbon emission and these all things. So I believe overall it's a great opportunity for all the countries to develop technologically, economically, socially, and culturally. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. 26 participants, I think. Yeah, please go ahead.
Good evening to all.
Or good evening. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So, from my point of view, 2022 and the beyond will be a tech world. As we all know, the pandemic hit the countries economically as well as culturally, as well as it had the worst impact on the environment also. And from my point of view, the persons who are working in the companies got to know that they can secure their job even by working from their home. So now the youth is more concerned towards their skills rather than doing degrees, because the youth is coming is the money minded. So they would be more inclined towards the money by improving their skills rather than attaining degrees. And like the new freelancing skills, like youth is more inclined towards the freelancing skills like blockchain development, the new technologies like cryptocurrency and programming languages. Also, when we talk about India, from 2022, I think the national education policy is implementing. So it would bring a drastic change in the education field of India, like the education system of India. And also from the like we are seeing in the news also that the corona rate is declining. So from 2022, we can see the economic growth of the country, and The countries can establish the international relationships much more stronger than the previous ones because they understand that in the pandemic, if they don't help each other, there would be no scope of improvement. I think from 2022, the youth would be more concerned toward the tech world, and that is the need of the world right now.
Okay, so like I would like to add to his point only. So as COVID happened and most of the business are shifted online, so like work from home, they are doing work from home. So like people are acquiring more and more skills. Like even the youth is doing internships and all, and like gaining the practical skills. So like the education sector will obviously gonna be improved, but with that like economy can also grow as the like people are working from their home only. So they are saving the traveling money, traveling cost and all. And with that like people from small cities who wanted to be work in the big companies which are in the metropolitan states or cities, so they can work there. So it will benefit the company only as they will be able to acquire more people, and they can improve their efficiency. So it will gonna improve overall situation after 2022. So yeah.
Okay, all right. And so,
Okay. Yeah, a very cordial welcome to the esteemed panelists. Am I audible?
yeah, you're audible, Pratish. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, as my fellow mate said, that this post pandemic world and the beyond world will be of tech world. I would like to just oppose them that this would be a tech world, but right now the need of an hour is to strengthen the basic education system, the primary education system. Because in the pandemic years, in these 2 years or 3 years, the primary education system has lagged a lot. Our students from of the class of the age of 5 to 15 are lacking extremely for the basic educations, because studying online is even the college students are not studying online. Then how can we expect that these small students or these kids could be comfortable with the online education? We could also see that for instance, we will take this: when someone is in the family falls sick, all normal routines and arrangements are affected, and then the deeper problem that lays hidden under the momentum of the routine lie exposed and revealed. The same applies to this pandemic. This pandemic has impacted really hard to the education, the basic education system. And when the Right to Education Act was promulgated over a decade ago, it seemed like a breakthrough. This procession was grounded in the structure and procedures created under the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan during the decade proceeding to the RTE. These structures were not affected, but they marked a new beginning in the direction of local autonomy and devolution of power, and enhancing the education of the primary sector. As my another opposition said, that crypto would play crypto would play some important role in the upcoming future, or but as my perspective says, not regulating crypto would be the worst mistake of all the governments in the entire world, because crypto is something that's it's intangible. It cannot be seen. If it's not being regulated, then a suspicious kind of money is being created on the back end of the economies. So that would definitely impact the overall world economy as we move on. Yeah, and the other perspective of that, people are work from home, that can increase their productivity. But on the other hand, if they are working from home, they are destroying their particular health, and for the long term. So that's all. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but like everything
You.
comes with the opportunity cost. As you are saying that like studies are affecting of the students are affected, but like they got extra time to focus on extracurricular activities so that they can focus more on their like art side. And you know that there are scarcity of jobs in the education field. There are more jobs available in the like art side or any other sector. So like there is always a opportunity cost involved in everything. So like yeah.
Okay, moving on,
I would like
countering
to,
upon you.
I
Just a
would
second.
like
I would request just a second. Count just a minute of counter. That you said people are getting a lot of opportunities. I would like to intervene that, ma'am, around 40 to 50% of India's population belongs to the poor sector, and they can't even afford a single smartphone to attend a class. That's how you define equality. That's how you define equality of opportunity. That's how you define the equality of providing enough stage to the population of public. I mean, a certain sector, a certain section of the society is benefiting from this work from home, but ma'am, almost as I compare to my UP, ma'am, around 90% of the primary sector students are not able to reach to the schools. They are not getting their primary educations. And as we compare to the Kerala, they have provided a lot of aids to the public students, and providing them various smartphones as a beneficiary, so that they can benefit the primary education. So it's providing opportunities only to the superiors and only the middle class or the upper class, but not the poor class. But this poor class also belongs to my India, and they have equal right for education and equal right for opportunities. Thank you so much.
Pratyush,
Brother, I'd like to combine
Pratyush,
two
I
points.
wanted to
So I'd like to
Pratyush,
combine
I
two
wanted
points.
to intervene that Pratyush, you said your whole speech was centered around the government system of our country. So you can expect that from 22 to after 2022 and beyond, there is an incremental youth participation in government, and there's been a great, huge literacy rate increase. So you can expect that in future, these all will be forming a good governance with highly qualified, skilled leaders and all, so they can erode away these all things, these all such kind of poverty, or they will be working on these things. This is not it has never been that there is never a permanent solution for a poverty. There will be a certain section of people, they would be somewhere deprived of economically, but a literate government and the youth who are up in these upcoming generation, they will work towards it. You cannot only go upon the online education things and you are only repeating the things which are there, which have already been passed in 2022, 2020, and 2021. But in 2022, our health sector has worked upon, government is working rapidly to cure these problems, to work upon this. So you can expect a good future. It's not about only taking up some problems of a certain sector of society and imposing it.
No, brother,
All
but
right.
it has been a
So
problem.
Exactly. Yeah, you continue.
uh, wrap up. 30 more seconds to be wrapped up.
Yes, sir. I
So
was
please
saying
wrap
yes,
up the
there
discussion.
has been
So
there are poverty, poor section in our society. So we cannot deny it. In fact, I respect his opinion that yes, there has been a certain type of situation कि कहीं पे किसी को you have to face it. But buddy, you don't have to be much worried about because this is the coming era. We'll definitely go online. We definitely the infrastructure will improve, your economy improve, your section will definitely these stats will improve. You can expect good in the coming years. And also, I would like to state one more point that in the coming era, wellness will become the newest metric that companies will use to understand their employees. For the years, the executives have been experimenting that with a different metrics such as employee satisfaction or engagement to understand their employees. Now, in 2022, the organization will add the new measures that assesses their mental, their physical, their financial health as well. These programs will work for them to take the advantage of the being programs run for them. However, there has been a limited uptake of these opportunities. Now, in 22, organization will adopt some new employee well-being measures that capture the financial health, mental health, and physical health of their employees and more accurately predict employee that with the perfection with their performance and attention. So yeah.
All right. Can we wrap up the discussion? Sorry. Can we wrap up the discussion in 10 seconds? Anyone wrapping up? Quick wrap. Not more than 10 seconds.
I want to draw everyone's
Okay, sir.
attention towards the environment. Everyone is involved in the rat race. They want to improve their technologies. They want to earn money, but no one is looking towards environment. As we are growing technology,
Uh,
the future is going to
uh,
be tech. Uh,
brother,
I
sorry.
would like
Can we
to
wrap up
interrupt
the?
you. Yeah,
what,
yes,
sir?
you
Yeah. Can
continue.
we wrap up? Yep, yep. Can we wrap up the discussion? Wrap up in the sense, can we close the
Okay,
discussion?
okay,
Anyone wants to close the
Okay, sir.
someone take the lead
Uh,
to close?
sure, sir. Sir, sir, we can expect that in future economy and technology will increase, but when we come towards the spirituality of people, the moral ethics and environment, there is a suspected decrease in it. So it's the best thing which I can wrap up with, that there's a technological increase, economy will increase, country will increase, but there is a minor like decrease in ethical and moral values of people, and there will be increasing environmental concerns too.
sir. I wanna add
All
one
right.
line in this. The future is going
Yes,
to be
please.
tech,
Last line.
and everything is using electromagnetic thing. And if we are using electromagnetic thing, the research had shown that Earth is losing its magnetic field. If Earth will, if Earth would lose its magnetic field, then we nothing can save us from the sun's radiation. So be aware of that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right.
I'd like
First of all,
to
I think thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think this has been, for kudos for the brilliant participation. We exactly, I mean, this was the topic, and I think all the participants, right? Let me just call out the names, right? Just give me a second. I have just looked for that matter. Hold on. Yeah, okay, I can see the names. I think Suklin, Rohit, Saurabh, Bhavesh, Gaurav, and Shani, I think you also joined in. I think right now I don't see you raising the hand, but I think thank you so much for joining in and for the group discussion, right? And then first, I mean, we'll talk about it, how it has gone and so on and so forth. But the first point and the first piece is coming here and actually, there's a huge lot of audience. I know they'll be in the room, but it takes a lot of courage. First of all, present your point of view and then bring in onto your bringing onto your thoughts into a group. So that itself is a big sign, and trust me, I think it never looked like that. It never looked like that. You are attending GB for the first time or something like that. You really look pretty solid. I mean, most of you look really solid in whatever you are bringing onto the game. Uh, so kudos for all of you, Saurabh, Gaurav, Bhavesh, Rohit, Sukhdev. So thanks for joining the discussion. Pratyush as well. So thanks for bringing or being a part of the group. All right. So with this, let's understand, right, what went well in this discussion. Now I'll just give a quick
Sir,
a
I
quick
would like to ask one thing.
yes, okay,
I would
go
like to
ahead.
ask one thing, sir. Sir, should we cross question a lot in a GD, or like should we keep a limit of a cross questioning?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just come to that. Very. I mean, it's a wonderful question that you have asked. Okay, we'll take this as a case study, right? Whatever happened right now. So what went well, right? We'll give you a complete diagnosis of it. The way it started off is, I'll not take names, but the way it started off, the whole flow happened. It started off with, Elon Musk and Jack Ma, right? The power leaders of the world, right? What they think of the world, how it is going to be shaped up and so on and so forth. I think brilliant entry. I mean, it gives a holistical view. It really showed that you are looking the whole world into a landscape from a power leader perspective. I mean, it's no wrong or right, but what is important is you have given a global look to it. I think that's one point of it. It started off with an economy piece. So the whole theme of it was running on economy. Then when it was taken up with the taken up onto the next spirit, I think it was not only economy, but it got the thought of I mean the thoughts of moral social applications, and then the education piece, and the ed tech and so on and so forth. So that included into, so it's like the mother theme was into the economics piece, but then we entered into some subcategories. I mean, if you have realized the whole topic, then someone entered into the technology game as well, right? Talking about that, no, it will be a technology aspect. So it's again a brilliant entry, I would like to say, because the whole thing was economy, the whole thing was entirely piece of it, right? So we are talking about edtech, we are talking about obligations, we are talking about staffs and things like that. And then there's a brilliant entry done from a technology perspective that crypto will take over it and so forth and things like that. So that is also the one whoever you said that is a point taker out there because it took the direction and it's a shift, it's a magnum shift. Now the fourth entry, I mean, it moved from technology, cryptocurrency to to the education, right? To the basic right of education. I think this was uh, one of the biggest bummer in the sense the whole discussion because it took and it was a question to what everything was being said. Was said that okay, so folks, I think just in case you feel okay, it's not making sense. I think it will be awesome that it will be it can be I mean really optimize your time. Very important. If you feel if it is important, please stay. Otherwise, it's okay, right? I mean, it's okay. It might not make sense to most of you as well, so it should be okay, right? So, folks who do you think it is making sense? I think please stay online. I'll be more than happy to help you. All right. So coming back to this, the whole part of this is right. So then it was a magnificent entry into the right of education. So the whole progress of the discussion was anchored with that point. It's a brilliant entry that was made, right? And I think I'm not sure who made it. I think Pratish, you made it, right? So believe it or not, right? It will turn because the moment you answer question, whatever people are making progressive points, right? You really degrade that points, which is, I think is an absolute alternative opinion thought model, which is really, really great. So I'll talk about the part of it as well, right? What we can do better. But I think that was one really important, piece of it. Then the overall part of edtech, I think Supreme, you brought that point of ed technology and so on and so forth. I think again gave a progressive direction onto it, really overwriting a bit about what Sain or probably Pratyush said it, and then I think there was a bit of cross-countering questions and so on, so which is absolutely fine. In GD, you can definitely do that. But I'll talk about it, what we could really do well in terms of the questions, right? But if you see the health of the discussion, I believe every one of you really made a point into the overall discussion. I mean, you are taking your time, but the points you are making was giving pivotal anchor to your respective page. Now, this is what went well from all of your end, right? Now, the point is, in the GD, not everyone will get through. That is the catch, right? I mean, if you make a brilliant point out there, but point is how can you sustain, because your group discussion is not about making your point. The group discussion is also about making your presence, taking the group along, respecting the group views, summing up the group into a progressive discussion and still making a point. Now, this is what your point we're making, but let me tell what could have been better. Now, this is the catch of it. When so the way that the discussion happened and so on and so forth, right? And in the first part when the economy was going and things, I think the third point when the crypto and the technology was coming into it, the point could have been actually done or could have been better is you relating the technology piece to what the others to have told. So that could have given I mean, that would give the person who is assessing the group discussion as, okay, you understand what others are saying, but you have a point of view. The third point of technology, somewhere it looked like that, you know your point, but what exactly the other folks said, did not make sense to you, right? So that can be, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but that can send a signal out to it. Now, the fourth part of it is where the point of the basic right of education and equality and things actually came into the picture. I believe brilliant point done, but what really could have been done better is we make that point and go back to the topic. What really happened is we went and went and went. We went into the policy making process, right? So please remember, it's very, very. I mean, it's and nothing wrong about it. We typically get sometimes a bit more, into the discussion and carried away with the process and talking about numbers and things like that. It's okay, it's very brilliant to good about the numbers, but please remember, you'll have to come back to the topic and to the group. It's very, very important how do you come to that group back, right? Because the moment you are able to come to that group back is where it will make sense to you, right? So that's something which is pretty, pretty important. So it's 2020 and beyond, right? So you make the point of basic of accreditation that a point was made. Hey, everything was good, everything was going good, right? We are talking about education, but where is that basic right of education, right? Or where do you where is the inequality? Where is the equality coming into the picture? Now, can we do this in 2022 as a better as a country, as an economy, as a global economy? What we can do as a better? I think if that point could have been without going too much of deep, if we would have left in the surface, left an angle, and put it up, I think it was a show stealer, in the entire group discussion. I think that would have really made a point. But the point happened is it went into the policy making direction. The best part again, right? I like someone who really pulled that out again to bring back to 2022. Now that's something which will, make the GDSSR turn around. Now, what potentially can happen, right? This is an experience. The group discussion can go in different direction, right? Because discussion, people are making points and here and there. One part is if you are not able to make a point, or if you have already made a point, if you are able to bring back the group into the direction of the topic, I think you again can steal the show. I think this was also that we are talking about policies, we are going too much of it, and suddenly, I think Rohit kind of told about it, and then got the whole group into the segment. Similarly, there were questions which were asked as in between, right? So one is bringing back to the group without asking the question, hey, you know what, we are talking about this, but let's talk about what we can do in 2022 and beyond. So I think it's a brilliant breaker as well, which gives a lot of weightage, right? There are brownie points into it, which you can steal. One important aspect of it, which is pretty crucial, is the questioning part. Now, the question part, it is right, and this is the trick. If someone asks a question, and it's very important, someone might ask a question because that's also a trick, right, to put onto it. So the next question is, should you counter respond to it? Should we not respond to it? Should we challenge the viewpoint, right? Typically, I would suggest that do not challenge the viewpoint of the other person because you have less time and you'll not be able to do, because it will be like a debate otherwise. You are not in a debate, please understand. A group discussion is that the group is discussing on a certain topic, and you have to give a beginning, you have a content, and you are ending the topic with a certain summary out of it. The whole thing is that can you make sense? If someone is challenging, can you give with some other thoughts rather than challenging the important part of it? It's completely okay. You can still challenge it, but if you have less time and if you feel that okay, you have already made your point, then you can just leave because you've already made your point. So that's okay. You can leave that question and really do not answer into that. Now, what could have been also better is when I said summary, right? Please do the summary. I think the discussion was getting elongated. I know there might be, hey, I think I have not made my point. I have not made my point. But please remember, if someone in the GDSSR, when they come in this pen and they say, wrap it up, please do not go beyond. Because I was trying to do it intentionally just to make you realize that you might feel, oh shit, I'm not giving the chance. But the point is, it's a 7 minutes discussion. You have to make a point within 7 minutes. If someone else is speaking, you can also interrupt and you can make your point. Okay, can I make a point and make a dominance out of it? And someone is speaking, you don't have to really wait for the person to get it over. You can just cut it off. Cut it off in the sense that do it diligently and make a point out of the word that the person is making, right? So that is something that you can actually do. And also, right, what could have been better? When you're speaking in a GD, you don't have to, if it's a 7 minutes and you are 7 people, please remember, do not take more than 1.5 minutes for yourself. The real point of it is, your role as part of the group discussion is you also need to let other people speak, right? So the moment you think you make your point, right, do not take like 20 to 30% of your time. So it does not demonstrate you as a leader. It demonstrates that, okay, you want to dominate the group. So you do not want to make a dominance. You want to be an initiator. You want to be a leader. You want to make your impact into the group, but you also need to take the group along. So That is something which you can actually make a lot of sense. And there are different kind of strategies. For example, someone is not speaking, and you think you have spoken enough, so you can, if someone is speaking a lot, you can say, "Hello, my friend. I think you have made a fantastic point. Can Mr. X can make a point. I think he has been silent for quite a long time." You can also make that as an entry. That also shows that you think about the group that you are being part of. Okay, so this is what I think some of the things that could have been better, but absolutely amazing. I think the way the group discussion was held, it is not a first time. As I told, the group discussion is neither right nor wrong. The point is that how can you optimize your point? How can you make your point? How can you optimize your point? How can you take the group along? And at the same time, making your mark, and amplifying your points, making your timing correct, and bringing something which is very, very unorthodox into the game, right? So, like the unorthodox of it, I really like the unorthodox entry of challenging with basic of education, right? We are talking about economy development, blah blah blah, and there is a digressing moment, right? Similarly, someone really took the match off in the digressing moment. But the point is, you have to really anchor that digress. Please remember, if you are digressing a certain team or the progress of the GD, right? You need to have very, very strong anchor, and the presence that you make. Point is, there are different tips and tricks as well. For example, if you're digress that for a moment and then again make attempt to progress it off, right? Okay, I mean, I have made my point, but my friend, whatever he has told, it also makes sense. So what does that mean? That you are not countering the person's opinion, but you are giving your opinion viewpoint, but you still is with the group for their progress. So this is something I think the more you do, I mean, the more you kind of come across your teams, come across your in your college groups. There's six of you. Keep speaking about it, right? And I think this is not a one-time thing. This make it as a part of your personality. Make it as part of your habit. Whenever you in a group, how do you let others people speak? How do you make your point also clearer? How do you listen? GD is very important about listening as well. So your GDSs will also notice you. Are you listening to what people are saying? Because most of the decisions that you will make as a leader going forward in your company, right? You have to listen and then they take a call. I mean, if you keep speaking, you'll only give your viewpoint. You will not listen what others has to say. Okay, so what I really found really meticulous in this group, I think there is absolute brilliant reading in the reading that has happened. There is a good reading, there is good content in this group, and I think this is the bonus hack. There is no alternative to read. The more you read, the more alternate thoughts it will strike in your mind, and so on and so forth. And I think to answer your question, Subhinder, I just told that, right? The countering part, if you are countering also, how do you counter that? So can you really? So I hope that answers your question. Okay, all right. So I think that's all from my end. This is one of the bonus hacks. So I would be more than happy to, answer any question. I know we have overshot with time, but I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions for that matter. If you have anything, if you want to ask anything, I'll be more than happy.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm sure that this webinar would have helped many students to be in the right direction, and everyone must have gained an ample amount of knowledge. Now, proceeding further, it is time to take up questions. I would like to invite Shayan to proceed with the question answer session. I request you all to please stay calm and let the previous question complete before raising any other question ahead.
Thank you so much, Anshika, for maintaining the decorum of the webinar till now. Before I proceed with the question and answers round, I request all the participants to switch on their videos for a quick virtual photo session. Participants, kindly turn on your cameras.
Mr. Saumar, may I request you to stop sharing so that way the whole screen will come up?
Sure. I will have to just share a bit more, but yeah.
Okay. Just for a minute. Yeah.
Yep,
Thanks.
sure.
Everyone, smile, please.
It's too cold. Might be. The sun.
I know. Are we done, Sharon?
Yes, I think we're done. Yeah, thank you everyone. So now you can, now you all can turn off your cameras once again. Well, we have been receiving great responses over our social media handles. I'm sure everyone must be eager to know the answers to their question. So without any delay, let's proceed towards the question. Sir, so moving on to the first question, sir. If we want to criticize someone in the group discussion, like we are very opinionated, how far should one go towards being critical towards someone else?
Okay. So you, as I said, right, in last part, and in the way that how do you spend some time in the criticality, right? So you can do that, but but okay. Now the point is that in the entire group discussion, if you are criticizing someone in the point, right, you I would suggest is not to barge in because you have limited time as much as possible. One is that you can challenge the viewpoints, but do not say you are wrong. I said, okay, I think I respect your viewpoint, but I have an alternate thought. Put up your thought and do not question what the person has said. The way that you have to criticize is, I mean, you might have an alternate thought. So it's the criticizing part. We don't have to criticize at all. I mean, that's a wrong word. Sorry. I mean, that's a wrong word. There's no criticizing of that all, right? So if someone is explaining or expressing their thought, it's just the viewpoint the person has, or the participant or has been put on. You can put up your alternate thought. You can have an alternate thought. And it's possible. You need to, right? But the thing is that you just have to respect that and give your opinion rather than question, okay, how can you say that? No, how can you say that is something which is up to that guy. It's not we have to question in that group. It is only the group discussion is about putting up your viewpoints into the group to come into an achievable, or put up a holistic summary of the thing of that topic. Now we discuss some points, we don't discuss up to the points, we have to counter that with our alternative thoughts. That's all. If that answers your question.
All right, sir. That was very insightful. So I'll move on to the next question then. So as we have seen in the past, GD, that many people were trying to overpower the other person by speaking over them. So what if we come off as very dominating towards the other person? Like how do we control that in a group discussion?
Okay. So dominance part, right? You have already made up your points, right? And you know it, you have already made up your point. You don't have to dominate anymore. Now you have to. There might be a possible, right? With your group, you have participants which are really very aggressive. They're not letting you speak. You have to make. I mean, you can go ahead and make your point. In case you have not made any point, certain time, right? You can just barge into the discussion. You need to merge into the discussion, otherwise you'll not get an opportunity. So you're saying that that your group members are not allowing you to speak at all, right? There are groups which will allow you to speak. You don't have to dominate them. Automatically the time will come to you, right? In this group, for that matter, I think for the initial 10 minutes, everyone is almost silent. There's a gap of around 5 seconds when someone is speaking and the other person is taking off. But there will be groups where you'll not get a breather of a second because people are really aggressive. They know their content, they're making a point. In that, right, how can you make a, I mean, you just have to make a point and say, so raise a hand that, guys, I need to make a point. Otherwise, if you speak like this, we'll not come into a common, or we'll not come to a conclusion of this discussion. You can make a grand entry like that as well. It's a fish market and everyone is speaking, right? I mean, you can always put up a hand up or things like that and say, guys, I think this entire group discussion is running to fish market, right? Can we make up a point? This is what it is. Then you make an entry. You can do that, right? But if you have already spoken, you have got an opportunity to speak, then I think let the group speak on its own. You can navigate the group into a proper discussion and make it happen. So your role is to make the group an amicable discussion platform. It should not be a fish market. Many people will forget that, right? But if you can, if
Yes.
you know this two to three, you make a point, you are, you are able to navigate the group. You are stopping the group to make nuisance, and at the same time making all the participants speak. I think your job is done.
So, sir, if you're on the other side of the room, like all the participants are talking and making it a like a big fish market. Like, how do we make our point? Like, how if you have a sports soft spoken since like a long time.
Yeah, so that's a bad news for the soft spoken guy. So the whole group will be terminated. So, for example, when I kind of went ahead for assessment of a group discussion, right, I cannot hear it, what everyone was saying. I could not hear what any one of them was saying. There is one guy who was, silent into them. Unfortunately, it's a group discussion, right? And you have to stand out of the group. So the whole groups get terminated there. So if someone is in the soft-spoken guy and there's this, it's a fish market, I think it's not about soft-spoken guy. You can always soft speak, but the point is, can you enter into the group? In a group discussion, you have to enter into the group, right? Because that is something that you anyways have to break the intimidation. You cannot be silent for the rest of your life, right? Because to
Yes.
make up your point, you have to speak up. So please remember that to make your point, you have to speak up. No one will come and ask you, is it something you want or you don't want? You have to speak up for yourself.
All right, sir. So sometimes what I've seen is like sometimes when we are going to talk, like we know what we want to talk about, but we panic and we lose contact to what we are going to talk about. Like, how should one manage in that situation?
Okay, so one is practice. Of course, a lot of practice, lot of practice. I think here, I mean, today itself, right? There are 98 folks, only seven of them participate. Nothing wrong or right. The point is there's a fear. I can I make I part of it at least like that. Only thing is practice. Today's session was a practice. The guys who kind of or the team who participated today is one round ahead in terms of their practice is what I'm trying to say. So try to have a lot of practice sessions as much as possible. And after, so it should not be an ecosystem which you are not aware, right? So the moment you go into the group, you know it's a group discussion, you have to make a point. So, I mean, do not hesitate to make your mock groups in the classroom, within your friends, within your, within your family members. Group discussion is all about that. The try to make up your point as clear a discussion. Try applying. Put up a topic into the group and say, okay, what do you guys think about it? I think a lot of practice sessions will definitely help. And reading, okay, there is no alternative to reading. I mean, the more you read, the more clarity you'll have, the more information you'll have. The only thing is this, it's from your head, you have to apply into the discussion. So for that, you need a lot of practice.
Yes, sir. So another question is like there are two parts to a GD. Like one is the research part and one is the execution where we talk about it. So how important are both the things and what should be the criteria to manage for both?
Okay, so the one part of it, right? So as I said, when you enter into the group, I know there's a research. As I said, I think there are rules and regulations onto it when you move on to that group. But trust me, the moment you enter, it can be execution research, it can be research execution research, it can be execution and execution, it can be research, no execution. It can be planned. It can be just theoretical as you move forward. The only part of it, right? Because the point is, who is going to start? If he starts with an exhibition, you bring him back to the research. No, you have to really take them up from that group, right? Or you really need to have that convo to bring that research up to that, into the discussion. The main strategy that you need to put up is, for example, right, I went with those three principles. The moment that you have, if you really concentrate on to that. Third is whenever there is a topic, right? Think about the topic. How can you nail it differently? Number one, think about your strategies to nail the topic alternatively, not what everyone is speaking. So you know where it is, right? So today's topic, almost everyone spoke about economy. We could have spoken about love. We could have spoken about mental health. We could have spoken about how many folks died. Let's more people should not die from 22 and beyond, right? We could have spoken about health. So this were also the alternate thoughts. I mean, 2020 and beyond, we did not say about economy, we did not say about business, we do not talk about companies, we do not about privatization. There's an open. So the point is, the whole idea that there are five people speaking on economy. how can you make an alternate job? And said, I think 2022 leave everything about economy. Let's talk. Can we talk about peace? Can we talk about a better health? Can we talk about families coming together? Can we talk about less sadness from 2020 and beyond in the humanity? That is also an angle that you bring up across. So thinking under the carpet, what everyone is saying was, of course, there's a cryptocurrency, there's a technology, there's business, there is this, there is that. Everything is, the whole discussion is going into the right. Now, can you make an alternate arrangement, or can pull an arrow which no one would have, right? So you can say, guys, forget about everything. You can make an entry like that. Right? Please, let's forget about everything of 2022. These anyways are happening from 1990 when the boom happened. Can we talk about peace? Can we talk about more love? Can we talk about good mental health? Can we talk about families coming together? Can we talk about less fights? That's where the alternative thought will come across. So the point is, when you do the research, right, and when you do the execution, I think it almost depends on the group how they're operating. I think the whole idea is that any topic for that matter, list out as many topics possible. Think about alternate theories, what alternate thoughts you can bring. One is that it before. One is that okay, you see the how the wave of the discussion is happening, and then you make an entry into an alternate thought to it. So today's alternate thought was basic, right to basic education. That was an alternate thought, though the anchor was not very, very pivotal into that, but it was an alternate thought for the discussion, right? It was a digression. So I think that's where the whole game will be there.
Sir, I think we are done with questions. Thank you so much, sir, for answering all the questions with so much patience. Um, we are sharing a feedback form now with all of you, and everybody is requested to fill the form. If anyone is left with their query, please mention it while filling up the feedback form. We will surely revert to you. Now, I would request the
Yeah.
convener from Placement Cell, Jeta ma'am, to formally thank everyone.
Thank you. This was a really wonderful session, Mr. Samar. This was so interactive, and you took the patience. You had the patience to actually go through, point by point for the mock GD and actually write them out. That was really great. So before I just thank everyone, I have one question. So like we heard that student saying, this is English, as in it's Hindi. I'm not able to understand. So one query which came to my mind is, suppose a student is very fluent in Hindi and can answer during the GD, is able to put across his or her point in Hindi fluently. Is that a bad idea? Do they have to take up English? Even if they are technically sound, they have the technical knowledge for whatever the topic is, and they're expressing it well. Does that work, or do you think it's not a good idea?
Okay, so it depends on the assessor of the GD, whoever is coming out for that. Now, some organizations will have, of course, into that. I mean, I do not see any challenges into it. That is that as a part of it, but just an example, right? If it's a global position in the out of the country, I'm just giving an example, right? And there's a
Right,
good
right,
discussion,
right.
and of course, they will not allow that. They will have that as a standard, but many organizations do that as a piece. I mean, in fact, when I was at Infosys itself, I think Infosys, it was like we have regional languages for the GD sometimes. So it's not only Hindi or English, right? So for example, if there's a group discussion happening in Bengal, it is in Bengali, right? If it is, for example, in Tamil, so it is also in Tamil, right? So that's also happened in sometimes in regional languages that kind of move forward. But it completely depends on the job or the opportunity what the GD is leading into. So if the opportunity is okay, or the opportunity is absorbing that, and then I think there
So
is
then
no
how
barrier
would a
there.
participant know? Like, sorry, I'm cutting you. So how would the candidate know as to if that's an option or not? Is there a way to know it, or you just have to play it by the ear?
No, no, I think there's an option to know. For example, whenever there is a company that is coming out, right? I'm assuming the whole thing will be a company that is coming out for placements. Then it can be always check with the recruiter.
Okay.
or the person. The group discussion that is happening, can we have folks who are speaking in Hindi can also take part in this?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Not comfortable take part in this group. Of course, I mean that can always be asked for. I mean,
All
whoever
right.
is the assessor of the that person should give a consent to it, and I think rest is all okay.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. So the session was really, really good, and I'm sure the students really benefited. And the way your enthusiasm, your energy, the way you took the session forward was really great. And we hope to see you offline sometime when the students will be able to get a better, utilize this opportunity better. So thank you so much, and on the behalf of the placement cell. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank our principal, sir, who is basically the motivating force for us, always motivating us and infusing us with enthusiasm. And last but not the least, I would like to thank my placement cell team. It is their hard work, constant hard work throughout the year that makes all these events, drives possible, and particularly the students, because they are the ones who are actually working behind the scenes and getting all the arrangements ready, reaching out to speakers and doing all the work. So kudos to them. Thank you, everyone. And with this, we'd like to close the session. Thank you.
So much. Thanks so much. I think I'm quite active on LinkedIn, guys. So please, just scan the barcode. More than happy to continue LinkedIn. I invite this name. Right, please drop in a hi. Whatever you in.
Okay.
Right, I'm in Instagram as well. Right, in Human Mind. So please, I mean, I just connect onto it. I keep on connecting with many students for that matter, right, wherever it is. So if you feel that okay, you need to connect and you need to understand more and things.
Sure. Sure. Okay.
I think things as well. And okay, I'm not sure. Most of the things that I've spoken about is from my book, that is the Open Secrets at Work. So which talks about a lot of things into this piece and so on and so forth. So this is my own book that I published almost 2 years back, and most of the things and the extracts that I have shared is from here as well, right? So
Okay.
you can resonate a lot of the. I think I have only told around 2 secrets. There are around 10 secrets at work. How can you actually do stuffs and things like that? This is my number. Please feel free to kind of add it into your phone book or things like that. Anything for that matter, I would love to have your buzz. I mean, I would love to kind of connect with you. Be in touch for the future, or so and so forth. And last but not the least, I think keep calm and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. All right. Take care. Bye bye.
You too. Thank you.